A mother's regret. The thing I regret most in my life is raising my son to be too good. My husband was ill, suffering from advanced liver cancer. It felt like the sky was falling. I called my son, who was abroad, asking if he could come back to China and take his father to see a specialist. My son was silent for a few seconds. He said he was very busy, calling from the bathroom during a break. He told me to take my husband to Beijing for a follow-up visit and hire a nurse if I was too busy. Don't save money, he said. After hanging up, I realized I didn't know how to book a high-speed rail ticket. When I called again, there was no answer. Worried about my husband's condition, I ran to my nephew's house. Seeing my anxiety, he said, "Next time, just call me. I'll buy the ticket for you." He quickly booked the tickets and asked why I was going to Beijing. I vaguely told him my husband wasn't feeling well and we needed a checkup. My nephew immediately canceled the tickets and insisted on driving us there himself. "Aunt, please don't argue. My uncle is not well. If something happens, my mother will skin me alive. If you need anything in the future, let us know in the family group." That night, my nephew drove me home. I hid in the bathroom and cried, covering my mouth so my husband wouldn't hear. When I returned, my husband asked what our son said. I told him, and he sighed deeply, saying nothing. We both regretted raising our son to be so accomplished, only to feel so distant from him now. Our son had always been a top student. Both my husband and I are teachers, valuing education and spending generously on our son's schooling. He excelled, got into a prestigious university, and eventually settled in Germany. We sold our city house and used all our savings to help him buy a house there, moving back to the village ourselves. Villagers joked that we were going to Germany to retire. We smiled modestly, but secretly, we looked forward to the day. We even urged our son to get married and have children. When our granddaughter was born, we visited Germany to help. However, my husband soon left, feeling uncomfortable there. I stayed, but my son and daughter-in-law were distant, emphasizing privacy and independence. Years passed. My son visited twice, always in a hurry. His wife and daughter never came back. Now, with my husband sick, I felt panicked and alone. My nephew accompanied us to Beijing, handling appointments and payments. Without him, I would have been overwhelmed. My husband's test results confirmed advanced liver cancer. I cried in secret and called my son again. He came back for 3 days, then left, saying work was too demanding. Money, 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 I thought. Do you know money can't buy back your father's life? My husband grew weaker, and the doctor said treatment was pointless. My husband, unable to speak, squeezed my hand and whispered his worry for my future. I cried my heart out. When I was young, I devoted everything to my son. Now, I realized it was my spouse who was there for me the longest. My son had flown too high and far to care for us. I brought my husband back to our hometown hospital and explained the situation to our son. After much pleading, he came back from Germany. Seeing his son brought a flicker of hope to my husband's eyes. But my son soon wanted to leave again, citing work problems. Furious, I told him to stay until his father passed, or not come back at all. My husband passed away a few days later, his eyes fixed on the door, hoping to see his son one last time. At his funeral, my son thanked my sister's family for caring for us, but said nothing about my future. At dinner, he awkwardly mentioned his financial struggles and suggested my 2 nephews take care of me. I was stunned. After my son left, I decided to live in a nursing home. My sister's family would visit and take care of me when needed. I was satisfied with their kindness, and my son's ingratitude no longer bothered me. Years later, rumors of village demolition circulated, promising substantial compensation. My son returned, supposedly to attend my sister's funeral, but really for the compensation. I decided to divide the property among my nephews in the Hope Project, refusing my son's attempts to claim it. My son angrily left, his selfishness laid bare. I realized too late that I had only focused on his achievements, not his character. Now, in my old age, I rely on the kindness of my nephews. I hope my story reminds parents to teach their children kindness, for outstanding success means nothing if it comes with a cold heart.